Welcome to Factorio Krastorissimo weekly recap. My name is Nilaus, so this is the 6th of those such weekly recaps. So if you are not familiar with what this series is about, then this is a summary of my Twitch Let's Play. Twitch Let's Play is every Tuesday, Thursdays and Sundays on Twitch TV/Nilaus, and it's at 8 p.m. Central European time, and maybe some exceptions during Christmas, but check out Discord for my schedule. So I'm playing 12 hours, and it's an overhaul mod, Krastorio, so it's easy to lose track of it if you're watching the stream, and if you kind of miss a few episodes, then it might be a bit difficult to catch up. So this is why we have this weekly recap, where I'm trying to go into detail with what I'm going to do, why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, so that you will be all up to date. All right, so at this point, this is the end of the previous week, and what we're doing research-wise is just finishing up the last and honestly quite irrelevant researches we have left, with all except the rocket science. So definitely this core is of the next week of Let's Play, the ones that just passed, is getting up to launch some rockets, and at the same time we're going to go woefully out of power. That's definitely a thing. So we need to do nuclear power, fusion power, get all that stuff, because you can't really leapfrog. Well, you can, but yeah, you can leapfrog nuclear power, but fusion power takes 500 megawatts to even start up. So you need to be able to have 500 megawatts of free power in order to even start up your fusion power. I don't have that in my base. My base is running on, nothing. So as we start getting modules, beacons, all of that thing thrown in, we are going to go into get trouble with this, and you can already see this one will probably not be able to keep up, and it'll start draining all of the biomethanol we have in the system. So that's where we are going, and let's jump forward and see what the things are we built in the first episode. So here we are. This is we've now run out of science. We also, at the end of last episode, we also have copper issues. They've now been alleviated. The way they've been alleviated by two things: we're not doing science, so that means the demand is going to be a lot less. But aside from it, we've also just added a few of these intermediate production facilities to make sure that we have better production of the enriched copper ore. But that was not really the big thing, because the big thing was actually, let's see, as we go in here and start working our way towards the optimization tech, we can see that that is actually being made in a quantum computer. So that already is giving us issues. And yeah, so quantum computer, we know we need a quantum computer. So I started looking at what it's to take to make a quantum computer that's a singularity lab, a quantum computer. And that requires AI cores, which we don't have at this moment. So going back and looking at AI cores, that's processing units, yep, nitric acid, don't have that, and emersite crystal don't have that. So we suddenly got stalled on our quest towards launching rockets, because, well, you can't really launch a rocket, or even if you launch a rocket, it doesn't really make a difference here. So what we had to do instead was find this emersite. This is a specific late game material that's made. We started up constructing this a long time ago, and just to make sure that we have a big stockpile here. This is not infinite, but yeah, it has 1.4 million plus whatever productivity we have here, 38% productivity. So it's gonna last a while. I'm gonna take it into this location. You can see here, it's just munching a lot of this, and whoa, noisy, noisy, noisy. What it does is it just produces a lot of, a lot of emersite powder, which is what we want, and then some sand, which is sand is going to be a bit of a problem, because if we rely on sand for this one, then we're just not going to get enough sand, and this one is shifted to sand, so that's good right now. But if I start consuming this, such as when science comes back online, then I'm going to consume more sand than this one can provide. So I need to find a way to balance the sand production. Sand is coming from stone. So anyway, we have this emersite powder. Is it called emersite powder? Yeah, and the emersite powder goes in here with the nitric acid and the sulfuric acid to form the next part. So that means I actually need to find out, where did I build my nitric acid, because that was like really horrible. All the way up there. Let's go down here first and take a look at, where is it? The next one, because that's closer. We'll take a look at this one. This is where we are building. See, the nitric acid is coming in, so we get our powder, sulfuric acid, and nitric acid going in here, and into a giant facility here. This is also where you start seeing that we are using a lot of power. Is it actually using a lot of power? Yep, it's actually, there we go. It would like to have 57 megawatts of power here, so that's something, right? That's something compared to all the stuff that we have. But it's also because this is a 30-second cycle, and that means we're gonna get, no matter what we do, imersite crystals will be in short supply. We have them here, 1.3, and they're just gonna be stacking up because we are gonna need those for a lot of in-game things. Mainly all of these late game, well, mainly because we need it for AI cores, and AI cores is a late game. All of the late game buildings require AI cores. And is it needed for some science? I don't think it might be. Yes, 5 imersite crystals. That means for every matter science we need 1 imersite crystal. That's going to be our biggest hassle moving forward, is keeping up with the imersite crystals. And so we'll probably come back to that one a number of times and improving it for sort of really accessing the late game. Although in the late game you don't really need a lot of items. So here we have nitric acid. We had a big fight about nitric acid. Nitric acid, I've always called it nitric acid, but I guess nitric acid is what Google says, at least the American way. So what this takes is mineral water that's abundant, ammonia, which we do have, and then some rare metals, and then we can get some nitric acid going up here. It's all good. It's going to be used for a few things, so let's just make sure that we have enough of it. The ammonia, we had already an ammonia location here. What we did was just double it and build another ammonia location here. That should be good for all of our ammonia needs. It's a big thing to build, but just having 2 of those, it's pretty simple. So that means we now have the imersite crystals. And did we actually get to build? No, I think it was in this one that I built the AI core, so I don't think we actually have anywhere we built the AI cores yet. This is all the normal stuff, and I think the AI cores go into this one, and I move this to somewhere else. That's how I think it's gonna go in the next one. So basically, at this point, we are now preparing to build the item that's needed for the machine that will make the space science. So we have to do that before we can even do the space science. But I think next episode, that's where we go into the space science. So let's jump forward and have a look. And so here we are. Let's see. We can continue on the quest towards launching rockets and getting space science, so we can get the science started again and see where things break. Well, we started good all this one. We already had from previously, we had rocket fuel and we had low density structures. So those were already good. And the last thing that we just needed was, well, this part. Oh, I guess it was missing a few beacons. Well, whatever. Oh, we're also getting slight attacks in, but I really don't deal with it at this point because, well, I like to build the tank, and that'll sort of motivate me. So this one, just starting to use beacons, starting to use a lot of modules, getting all of this done. Oh, I think I actually built it, and then it used too much power, and so I had to take all of these out because I didn't really need it to do that, because that's actually the biggest problem at this point. I started building this and I was so happy, and then I moved forward and go like, all right, now all we need is just jamming it into this one, just getting it ready. And here's the rocket silo. Yes, inside the roof opens and all that. That's just how we imagine it. So yes, we are ready for this one, but that point in power just absolutely got destroyed. So I had to abandon all hope. Well, not end all hope, but all plans. This one here just did not get enough inbound. So the options were working on 2 types of power: nuclear power or fusion power, or fission power or fusion power. The normal one is the fission power, and the thing is here, like, normally this one produces 40 megawatts of power and then has 100% neighborhood bonus. They've now changed it to be 250 megawatts of power and 25% neighborhood bonus. So basically different. And all the other things are also different. This one is now producing 250, or consuming and producing 250 water, and this one is now taking 50 in and out. So it's like the ratio is 1 to 5 instead of 1 to 2 and a bit. So I started working on this. The first thing you absolutely need is to have a constant supply of uranium-235, and well, the way you do that is by setting up Coverex. Coverex is a slightly different in this mod pack. I think that they just felt it was too good, so they kind of dialed the whole thing back, which I like. So I had to build this little facility. It's doing a lot of things at once. So basically, one of the things it does is it takes in the processed one, and the processed one goes out here, becomes that, and I'm gonna need to do that, and that I'll do in the next episode. What I'll basically do is just make a a slight buffer, and I don't have buffers. There, get that out of my inventory. Yep, it hurts to have this. Basically, just make sure that it'll just have a stockpile here. And we have our Coverex. Coverex looks different because it takes 30 in and gets 31 out, so it's better. But it now does not produce any uranium outbound. So we don't have to recycle uranium. It just turns it into stone, and the stone just goes out into the network again. It's okay. And basically what I'm doing here is each of these are going, and then once in a while something will slip by, and that will feed into this one, which produces our nuclear fuel. So I'm going to make sure that we will absolutely always have our Coverex is running at full speed, and sometimes whenever something drops by, like those two, they will now be processed into 2, and it actually is 2 uranium for 1 fuel cell. And that goes in here. We got our fuel cell, and let's run to actually look at the nuclear power plant, because that's also different. That took quite a while to design that, but it was totally worth it because it has completely solved our power needs. Here, run this way, and we are running instead. I'd like to get a better power armor. This power armor is a bit too small. It's power armor Mark II, but it's only 8x8. Normal power armor Mark II is 10x10, so I'm missing a lot of space in here. And I think this is where we are. It's our stop. What? Oh yeah, right here. So we also built the AI cores. Let's just take a look at this. This is stuff that we were working towards last time, and now we have all the ingredients, the blue circuits, the imosite crystals, and the nitric acid going in here, making lots and lots of AI cores that I guess we're going to use for something, or maybe we're not. I have at least left 10k, so now that's done. I mean, now it's just steady state. Here is our new nuclear facility. It's an awful lot of water. I might have overdone the water just a bit, but it looks brilliant in here. This was so difficult to fit in, but when we just did it, the reason why the ratio is 1:5, so it is these long stretches, and this one is a 4 reactor setup. So this is now working, and it's producing 1.5 gigawatts of power, so a massive boost here. It just goes in on one side, and the expended one goes out on the other side. Easy peasy, and it just works. And that gives us enough power to get started on the fusion power. Fusion power is incredibly easy, but it needs a big power spike to fire up, and that's what we have the capability to do now. What we've also done is something that is kind of related to the next step, and that's going to be where we work towards fusion power. But that's you can see the buildings up here, and we'll go through that as we go through the fusion power build. We have some heavy water, we have some lithium. Those are important, but not right now. So this is at the end of the 16th stream, and then we go into the 7th stream, which is the last stream of the week. And then you should all be completely caught up on where we are. So we're close to being able to launch rockets. We now have the power which was holding us back. So we can launch rockets, we can get science, we can get fusion power. Let's see how that goes. Right, so this is at the current state of the game, and in case you're missing why there are all these names, these are the people who have won a hype train, and therefore they get a building in tier. And that's pretty cool, I'd say. The first thing with our goal and objective for all of the stuff that we've been working this week is to get enough power so that we can launch rockets and get the optimization science. And in order to do that, we also have to make satellites. So let's go in here and take a look at the satellites. I'm not really super happy about this one because it's so slow because of here. I probably should redesign this, but there's just so much crap coming in here. it probably should be redesigned, and currently we don't really need to launch a lot of rockets, but you know, maybe later on we want to scale everything up, and this one is kind of not great. But we're just taking a lot of things in here, just spaghettiing it away, and we're building a satellite. Let's call it once in a while. It's not going to be a problem for us to actually keep up with the satellites. They will be built here. And yeah, so satellites will go into, let's go over to the Sabaton department, or the Sabaton warehouse. That's the one launching rockets. And go, 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 go. It is right here. This one will now make tech cards, or so the optimization tech cards. This one is going out, one of one, so it goes out to pick the one up we have. This one is in an idle state, just waiting for nope. Actually, this is interesting. Oh, this is red. Ah, you can also see there are some satellites on the belt, so that's actually nice. And you know what? I actually wanted to build it this way so I could actually see how much is on the belt to start with. And here, this one is full of those optimization tech cards. That's what they're called. I want 4,000 because I have 4,000 of all the other ones. So that is now done. We can launch rockets, not often, but often enough, and our satellite production is also good enough. So what we really want to do on top of all the stuff here is actually be able to launch some, to upgrade to fusion power, because I was kind of planning to leapfrog the nuclear power and go straight into fusion power. So at this point, when I had all of that done, it just didn't feel right that we sort of leave the fusion power sort of on the cutting room floor. But first, we have in here, this is the space science tech card, but it needs the science tech. What is it called? What is it called? Optimization? I don't know. It needs this one. Yeah? That one. It's called space research data. So the space research data goes in here and into these beautiful buildings. Very, very nice. Unfortunately, they're not running right now. That did not make any difference. There you go. Let's see if we can get it up and running. Perfect. It's running. And this is now built. I've put maximum productivity in here because they're super expensive. Also, really should be putting in, because this one is taking, yeah, it's 2.2 megawatts, but that's a lie, because each of these will consume 5.2 megawatts. That's not much. Okay. Well, they're consuming something. Oh, right. It's the space science. So now we have the space science, actually. And a good thing would be, we're going to end up by looking at the new space. So now we're going to look down now at the space science module. So this is how you do the normal science, the first 6 science. And you can see these advanced tech labs, they can only take the first 6 science inbound. So we're going to need a new kind of building for our optimization science and late game science, and that's where this one comes in. This is a singularity lab. These ones, they are magnificent, they're awesome, they look good, they are extremely power hungry. How power hungry? 57 megawatts for each of these, and I should be putting some efficiency modules everywhere around this place for sure. But this is where we get our science. They are slow. They got 40% productivity. They're working at research speed 4.2. I think this is the research speed I like. I mean, I can pretty easily just make 2 of those inside. Oh, I can almost make 3. No. Stop. I can make 2 of these in here, but I don't know if everything else can support it, but it's pretty cool. These ones can now take also the 3 remaining science packs, the matter science, the advanced science, and the singularity that we will be working towards. But you can also see that as soon as we hit this level, our power consumption is absolutely spiking. It's just factor 10 of where we were before, and that's going to be interesting. So lots of power is needed, and that's going to be the next thing. The solution to our power is long-term fusion power. Fusion power is, and we're going to do it reverse order. We're going to look at it from just the production facility, and this is just crazy simple, really simple. And it, unlike the nuclear power, it does not consume more than it needs. So it has a stupid amount of heat in here, and every time this operates, it gives 2k heat, and then it'll go out. And then when this one drops to, I don't know, 30,000 or something, maybe less than 30. I don't know. Sometime it'll take another one in. This is just slowly going down. Actually, it's quite quick, but it is slowly going down compared to everything. and then it'll take another one. Let's see, come on, where is the next one? Really should be taking another one in. Basically what this works is, yeah, you can see it's not using anything as long as it has the steam in here, and then the steam comes in, it's gonna be good. There we go. It takes 2 in, 3 in actually, 3, and it goes to 17, 16, boom, 25. So it gets 10k steam out of this. Yeah, 10k steam from 1k water. Interesting. It's actually magically whipping up water here. And these are pretty simple. They're also pretty noisy. So that's the simple part. The difficult part is this one, the deuterium fuel. Deuterium tritium fuel. So we need a combination of deuterium and tritium. Let's do that in the backwards order. So look at how we make those, and then we can break it down into the components, because the actual power plant, unlike the nuclear power plant, where the nuclear power plant is pretty complex, but the actual the nuclear power plant is complex, but the fuel is pretty simple. Then it's actually the other way around. For fusion, the fuel is really complicated, but the actual setup of the power plant is quite simple. Here we have our production of fuel. Yes. So what it takes some MTDT fuel, and what I'm doing here is basically making these canisters, and they will be recycled. So I'm just filling up this belt with the canisters, and if the residual ones comes in here, or so the recycled one comes in, then they'll just be filling up this belt, so that these will stop producing new canisters. So I'll sort of top up as needed, but generally not overbuild them, because they will be recycled. We are bringing in the tritium here, and we're bringing in heavy water, and so you can see tritium, heavy water, those are new things. Those are the things that we're bringing in. The heavy water, that's the deuterium water. So let's have a look at how we build the deuterium, or the heavy water, and together with the tritium that we need for the deuterium tritium fuel for fusion power. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, interesting. This place is not connected. It really should be. That'll shorten a lot of driving part, because the heavy water is coming here. So Timbo is taking care of heavy water. It's just electrolyzers, where it basically takes 500 water in and only get 20 heavy water. So I don't know, some kind of centrifuge or something, I would imagine. Don't know how it works, but it does stuff. It makes heavy water. Heavy water is abundant. It's just a process you set up, and then it's done. So let's look at the next one, the tritium. Don't look at that one. We'll come back to it. Tritium. This is also a small little facility. And what does it take? It takes a stupendous amount of lithium. Here, 30 lithium plus 1 uranium-235 and some rare metals. So the fact that it's 30 lithium means that lithium is going to be a big issue moving forward. Also one of the things that will sort of constrain us very much. Tritium here currently is just desperately trying to keep up. I don't think I want that much. It sticks to 200. Yeah. But anyway, it's good. It's coming in, and what will happen is that that will be the tritium here, will also be used for other things. It's going to make it into that one. So tritium is going to be the bottleneck here, and moving further back, the bottleneck truly is going to be this one, the lithium. This is an interesting build, kind of fun to do. If you look at the max rate calculator, what happens is that you can see there's a complete balance here. Chlorine, hydrogen, which is just something we whip out of the atmosphere. The hydrogen chloride is exact, and the hydrogen lithium chloride is exact. So there's a lot of things that are getting reprocessed in here. Basically, there's a closed loop of this. That one shouldn't be there at all. There's a closed loop where it takes hydrogen chloride, and the hydrogen chloride is being used combined together with some mineral water to make some lithium chloride. Lithium chloride goes in here together with some water and gives us some lithium and exports some chlorine. The chlorine can get recycled into this one, where it becomes hydrogen chloride again by adding some hydrogen, and the lithium chloride will then be processed into lithium that goes out. So you can see it's a pretty extensive process all the way around, and the result is that this thing is making a measly 5 lithium per second, and that's just not keeping up. So this is definitely something that needs to be reprocessed and redesigned for larger scale. I think I'll move this one out of a Mark II and start using a couple of Mark III facilities. We have a couple of Mark III facilities, that one and here as well. I think I'll take some of those to be lithium, because lithium will be our bottleneck from now on. But the fact that we have this one is producing 1.5 gigawatts of power. It technically creates 2, but it takes 500 to start up, so it's a net 1.5 gigawatts of power, and that is why we now have an abundance of power right now. Great. All right, so that is, you're now all caught up with what we're doing. It's getting really complicated, but what I'm gonna do on stream is just slowly go through it. You're welcome to ask all the questions I like, and it's the objective is that we have to figure this out together. This series will run for at least until the new year, and then we'll see what comes as we've done all the science and sort of launched the last thing. I don't think I'm going to convert it into sort of a Krastorio mega base, because, well, once you've built all of these things, building things just bigger in a mod like this isn't exactly the same kind of challenge as it is normally. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to join on live, then it's on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8 p.m. Central European Time, and it is on Twitch TV/Nilaus. I hope to see you on Twitch, here on YouTube, on Discord, or maybe even following on Twitter. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay effective.